Hello, welcome to Wild Rose Healing Arts, episode about Taurus season and the Stargate of spring emerging from a great rushing and quickening into a garden of a body of earth, the element that holds fire and sustains it and creates a body of life from it. So the plants and the green world that photosynthesize the sun, and then how we eat that and become a body, and how we also move with the sun. The sun is the closest star to us. There are many other stars around us that encircle us. Some of them we call the fixed stars, the ones that we can always see circumpolar. They don't change seasonally. And then there are others that come and go in a seasonal loop. Aldebaran is the bullseye in the heart of Taurus's horns. In the center of the bullseye is the outer seeing truth, of that clear truth and sight. Of Taurus, who is ruled by Venus and has the seven sisters of the Pleiades inside, it does have this body of senses, the arts of healing and feeling in the garden of the body. Taurus is the earth element that is the gate for Mercury to emerge in the birds and bees of Gemini next, in that Stargate. And this Taurus season emerges at dawn with Taurus at the horizon, leading the story. And so we call it Taurus, the moon of Taurus, the month of Taurus. And for this cycle of 4 weeks of ebbing and flowings of the sea and moon, where the new moon in Taurus seeds a new truth in the garden that it caught from Aquarius, the other sign on its group of 4, that crossroads of each element. Taurus catches Aquarian air ideas and embodies them. And that spark in the eye of the dark that is Aquarius's awakening quickened and became a body born in Earth. It's this regenerative force of kind life, like morning or like springtime, how flowers bloom and softness is created. And that, I believe, is Taurus season and the bull, like Ferdinand, out in the flowers after Aries season's rowdy romp to create and fight its way for life through the hard things of the very primal development. We can breathe into the second energy center beyond our root as we climb a ladder like a rainbow, a fish ladder up, making these great leaps. I am a fish leaping up a great ladder of possibility. I seek sacred anatomy and the gates of the stars that we do move within. I move within them in ways, within ways, within ways. My body comes home fully to its magical nature, in its wholeness, in all of its stories, in the characters in them that I embody. Taurus remembers with the Pleiades, the seven sisters in its body, the rainbow of possibilities that spills out to us from our darkest dark at dawn. We do have there an aspect of us remembered in each color, each threshold of that becoming that is a rainbow that we call a body that's created out of those potentials. that we dream up, that all culminate into our nightmares that run ourselves over dawn into an explosion of rainbows. And some of us still get up like the old ones knew to do and always did, and I return because I know nothing else. To be in this star garden emerging into the rainbows. And if you see there in Taurus season the Stargate from east to west, you'll see Taurus leading the charge at the dawn's horizon. And we have there the rainbows within the heart of Taurus that Venus knows rise out of the sea like Venus, out of the seashell of the castrated king. Well, yes, it was Leo that went down by Virgo's side and in through Scorpio in this fixed crossroads tumble through fire and then water descended that king's seed through the darkness of solstice's darkest eye out through the awakening quickening of Aquarian visions into the body and womb of Taurus's cauldron to be a garden here. Finally, after much dreaming and preparation, and death and sacrifice, this reincarnation, after Jesus rises, after the resurrection, which was in fact an answer to what grew out of Epiphany. And you can say these crossroads are matched up. It's the same as these fixed stars march around our pole in the sky. That knowing eye that's empty in the center and still sees a body into us, that through our marrow still weaves bodies onto our bones. The ancestor story of us there, in the heart of it all, in the center of things, in the marrow of your bones, in the guts of you, the deep knowing places that Taurus says your body can't lie. So listen there and find the seven sisters. One, the sister of tears, emotional memory. Your eyes, your fluids, the waters of you. How much do you know of memory in your life and of your body as memory becoming alive as a practice to find itself, to know itself better, to do itself a better justice of expressing that truth? This emotional memory is just what exists, just what is, and what can be known through emotion. And this kinship of belonging is the second sister, the sister of the kinship of belonging. These Pleiades sisters are amazing because from longing comes belonging. And so we have this soul of sorrow's weeping sister, the sister of tears, creating belonging out of longing and kinship there. And the third sister comes as the sister of sensing, the body awareness, the nerves and the skin, and the intuition, the senses. We are embodied in our feeling through our longing in its belonging. And the fourth sister's created rhythms, the sister of rhythms, cycles, the breath, hormonal, the moon, tides, the intelligence, the timing of ebb and flow, the gift of knowing when to move and rest, and be with seasonal or lunar intelligence. Creating the fifth sister of vision, inner sight, the eye of the heart and language of Creator, the one in that conversation as the lover with all of its augury and omens and prophecy, the intuitive heart, the conversation of spirit remembered through that gate of loving witness interpreted as best it can, like wings around a heart. We embrace the breath that does see our story and carry it out, hold it with us. We are held by the breath as it holds everyone, and we can hold anyone there in knowing through the breath and be known. It is endless, and whole time you can hop around and be with anyone who's breathed and know them and be known. And all of the green life that knows us and loves us and gives us breath exchange, an exchange of story and mercy and compassion. And it always holds us and never stops witnessing. The inner sight sees and gives meaning to patterns and is everything. The weaver here pairs with Aldebran, that great star in the middle of the eye of Taurus, third eye in the middle of the horns there, in the third eye of the bull, that sees clearly outward, sees clearly inward. And this gives birth to the voice, the sisters of the voice, the sixth sister. The voice is the expression sister, the throat, like that bright star above Taurus in the throat of the goat of Amalthea, the mother of Zeus, who fostered Zeus as a baby, held by Auriga, the charioteer, holding two kids under an arm, and Amalthea, the big mother goat, who fostered Zeus as a baby, who is our eternal Jupiter Zeus, our liver ever birthing green worlds of Eden in our body. Like Taurus and spring, our liver and Zeus or Jupiter never stop growing back life. They filter out old blood and birth a body eternal. It's always regenerating. And the regenerative part of us that filters and processes the blood, the purpose of life, it is what was fostered by this great goat, Amalthea, who has a star in it, Capella, right above Aldebran and Taurus and the Pleiades cluster there. This great Charioteer, Auriga, he's amazing, the Charioteer. He is fostering the foster mother and the fosterlings. And always moving, they say. And that bright star of Amalthea the goat, Capella, in her throat, like the sixth Pleiades, sister of the voice and expression. How we see Taurus's medical astrology anatomy in the throat as the gate to Gemini, which comes next. The twins, the lovers, run through this gate, which are, you could say, the shoulders of your mother and father, and how they mate in you, and how they make that winged heart of truth flying around here in the light. We have the shouldering responsibilities of each our father and our mother, and what we can do and shake hands with and say, point to and look out to in our right-sided nature, and our feeling, receiving relationality of our mother in our left shoulder, and how we can hold and hug and receive that, relate with them in the middle, held in some gate of becoming of the lovers that is the throat that knows that Mercury is held here, this expression that does sing the body back onto its bones, through its longing, a belonging found. And through the Five of Pentacles, which is Taurus's gate of Mercury in Taurus, we speak through our thresholds of limitation of what we know and value into form. We become that beautiful gift. And that is Taurus's truth, and what Venus knows through our third eye in our second chakra, making everything we manifest become real. We don't all just create physical bodies like wombs create them, but we do create them in unseen senses, relational worlds, worlds of meaning and fates, weaving destinies and impact. We do create what we know and dream. And Mercury understands this gate and threshold makes the belonging that writes the world that you embody. And we create that garden and are that creator, creating, and created. This Trinity is the mother and the triface of Bridget, the holy eternal flame that never goes out, and Bridget runs through each element, and here is the May Queen of the tri-goddess of the mother, who is Mother Maiden Crone on the earth, who embodies this great story and this great theater. This character arrives here, fully formed to live. And we have everything planted in the garden, arriving in the thousands of babies of us, being brought here through the story of the voice, as I am, this beautiful ancient tradition I stand in a lineage of this bardic nature, of like the birds singing the world into form. Like at sunrise, where Auriga, the constant moving charioteer, is like the dawn, the sunrise that never stops, this horizon threshold that takes darkest dark over its unknown into an explosion of phoenix color rainbows. And as we walk through these seven sisters, there's each shade of them. In the voice, we're at a beautiful blue hue of Mercury, and we are emerging through next the eye of the seventh sister, the hidden sister, the unseen lost part, and this beautiful indigo looks inside the star of Aldebran, outward and inward, and we see this beautiful missing that still shapes us, and what was lost in silence and still influences. And this eighth sister catching the cup of Jupiter on our crown of all that unknown, creating the great potential cup of the infinite growing um, world of infinite possibility and gift and abundance. And that crowns us as our ability to see through that hidden lost part our great potential and connect it to our stars that guide in tandem with us what we're doing. And if you want to drop down through back this beautiful thing back to the ground, you can find down here in your hips the ancestors of your grandfather in your right hip, your grandmother in your left hip, this lineage that knows this. And so if you're stuck in the fives of life, of your 2 feet on the ground and what they're shouldering and your head talking about it, that's a 5 way of looking at it. It's just this dog eat dog life, trugging it out, and then shouldering this boulder around. There's a little part Atlas right here at the base of it that thinks it's carrying everything, but really drop it down here to the base of the spine and it realizes, wow, I've got a lot holding me up, and then drop it even down further to the ground, to the feet, where all that is, entire body's being held, of an entire family ecosystem and memory and lineage that's embodied here. Because down in the knees are the feet, and sorry, down in the knees are the youth of 18 at the masculine and feminine. Each, the right is the young man, the left is the young maiden, and then in the ankles, the young kid, the young son, and on the left, the young daughter, and in the feet, the babies, the seeds of potential. And then even below that, the earth And so Atlas is constantly blowing its mind through the third eye and back here in what it can conceive of. Oh my goodness, look down. Even the earth is holding me. And the breath always reminds you if you need to be held, just receive. It holds anything with you there, and it's always done that, so it knows you best, and it never leaves you. So if you need that reassurance and rest, it will hold anything with you as it always has, and there's everything known in there in case you need ask. If you feel the earth and how much it holds you even beyond that in its knowing, you'll know why some of my ancestors were named Gnostics, for that knowing made everything. It is the seventh sister, the lost one, that knows there is an eighth, even more lost, that's hidden even more, that is the invisible one. Even invisible to the invisible. It's the one that is streaming from the parallel world and star memory lost. The one that Auriga, the Charioteer, holding the nurse goat, does keep going with the dawn. It never stops as a wave of light and song, and it casts us into space out of darkness infinite with sound and song. And I am sure the bird song does sing this world into being, along with the fishes every day, and those of us who get up to join it. We are all somewhere in it, dreaming, in some state of being and awakening, some state of seeing and unseeing. And it's worth knowing the whole story, especially if you're a transgender person who was erased, raised binary in only one way. When, like me, I actually had many in me. I was raised a girl, a tomboy, became a butch, a trans man. There's many threads that can be woven in every human, and this one is actually anciently honest and acknowledged. And how could it not be? Because it's still here and it still is this way, so queer and woven that way. And the ancients knew that. It's useful to have erased it, to have vilified, encased it in lies. It's gone far for the other side to have diminished the sanctity of our arrivals here, to keep us like robots or prisoners or slaves to a material survival as the only way. When the most traditionalist thing we can do is very much queerness at play, as it always has and always ever will be this way. Madhava, Madhava, Madhavya Mukha, as it was and as it is, as it shall be evermore. Cambridge out, Cambridge out, Cambridge out. Kamura Serendula Serenlar Serenartihura Serendula Kai brillao. We have returned to us in the bodies of our sacredness, the ancient ways and cycles of poems channeled in the winds of the sea, in that threshold there where the earth and sky meets me in perfect timing with the stars, landing with the earth in its arrival with the sun, the wind there and the light chasing each other's tail around in songs remembered, at thresholds awakening. We are the old quickening of recipes baking, becoming eaten and forsaking us to become a body, only to be a seed offered, one shred of truth left as we, the salmon, jump the fish ladders, offering our bodies as sacrifice to become something that's never been before. This kind of living into oneself and shedding is a queer thing to do. Most people reclaim it these days as a transgender act or way that you didn't get to choose, but that comes vicarious to the experience and reminds us of an old way where we all did that. It's worth reclaiming and renaming as common knowledge and sense. As common as our senses remind us of all these multiplicities and ways we act out every gender and character and story, a myth of great anatomy awakening in us, a great storm around us of stars, and a great awakening through our anatomy that is our cellular matrix of remembering. It is self, a heart, or a lung that catches the breath there, that holds us in that great story, or the liver that grows the eternal garden and filters that blood, the kidneys that grasp the will to live and hold the mystery of the ancestors that birthed this cauldron there of Venus, that hold the reaction there of life, walking that beautiful path of the feet on the earth that mirrors a star walk remembered, something laced before and traced and remembered like spider webs through a labyrinth. And the entry and exit points are our own shoulders and hips and knees and ankles and feet and head, and we become through our fives, if we drop down into our sixes, like being in our shoulders with our hips, with our ankles, and all three part of us, mother maiden crone come home to its whole self in all its gendered forms. This should be the norm. It's more of a trans story, and that which is seen and unseen fully woven and acknowledged. We have a great piece there. We can see what finally is in front of us and that we're doing, acknowledge, not have to mask so hard an opposite lie just because a scripted thing only to us in its fragmented form did fly. We are a seed always that can waken at this point at any time and grow whole again. And some parts of us know this, like that threshold of Auriga that never stops moving and therefore is on the coattails of horizon, making that truth known again. And Taurus and Aldebran, the bull that sees clearly that yes, the body's born from that truth and what we know and can see, and we fly there on heart's wings to become an entire body through the marrow of the kidneys, truth growing out its bones and teeth and hair into the nails and claws of us, and that which sees clearly through the twinkling eye of Aldebran, the great bull in the sky that sees the heart of truth of all these seven stars, a rainbow of all this knowing with us. If you're under this gate, you'll see your body true for what it truly is, this great, beautiful miracle. And I'm here as a rememberer, like any old queer would be at any time. This silver lining is the tip the universe vicariously gives me and creates me as for the world who lost this missing blind spot of its own remaking. This final ingredient that alchemizes the rest into something, some medicine we're taking, some gift that we can't forsake anymore, but that's taking shape in us, as an awakening, remembrance, an authentic homecoming of the lost, the wizened, and the ever whole, evermore. Blessed be and bless the bees, and be well.